Let's talk about the cons of living in Portugal as a foreigner. If you are Portuguese and you would like to use this opportunity to say go home or I am not welcome here, please go ahead, put that in the comments. It is great for engagement. If you are also a foreigner from any country and you live in Portugal and have for a little while, I would love to hear either through a stitch or comments what you think the cons are of living in Portugal. And I don't mean, to be clear, the challenges. I mean genuinely things that are not good or that you have given up by being here. I right now have two things that I can think of. It is not an easy list for me to come up with. If I think of others later, I will come back and let you know. But my first one is this. There is less economic or professional opportunity. I am not like a hustle for your paycheck type of person, but I also understand that the world we live in, our jobs become a huge part of our lives, and so it does sometimes become rewarding to advance professionally. And there's just not a huge amount of professional opportunity in Portugal. And this absolutely does not have to do uniquely with being foreign. This is true for Portuguese people as well. Personally, I work online, I work remotely, so it doesn't affect my life hugely, but at the same time, I don't have like a work life here, which kind of I guess can feel detrimental because, as nice as it is to have flexibility, I don't see people a lot of days. And now that I went to record it, I realized my number 2 is actually not specific to Portugal. It's just kind of a live abroad con. So I am not going to add that. Yeah, if you live in Portugal, I would really love to hear what you think are the cons of living here as a foreigner. And to be clear, the goal here is not to poo-poo on Portugal. It is kind of to be realistic about our lives here, because I think there is so much just glamorizing life in Portugal, and that's not fair because there is a reality of it all. So I think it's important for people who are prospecting this idea of moving here to know about what possible cons or downsides they could be facing. And if I come up with more, I will come back to you on it.
I'm coming to you from the future to add cars. Maybe it's not fair to add to the list because I think that the problems I find here are pretty global these days. It's car centricity. Is building worlds around cars, not humans, and a lack of sufficient public transportation. But on top of those kind of more global issues, there are two things specific to Portugal. One is an issue I raised recently in another video, which is the cultural tolerance of drunk driving, which I think we can all agree is a pretty awful thing to have. But the second, I am going to get hate for, but the Portuguese are bad drivers. And I say that as somebody who has driven in Southeast Asia long term. They are aggressive in a way that makes everybody on the road unsafe. And I think the kicker is that they genuinely think they're good drivers. So I think the con there is that living here, you're probably going to end up needing a car for some situations, or you're going to end up in Ubers a lot. You genuinely might not feel safe in either of those settings.